everybody, welcome to the channel. My name is Lindsay and this is Life with Lindsay. Today we have a WIP and chat. If you are new here, hi, welcome. My name is Lindsay. I do mainly diamond painting content and some other crafting related stuff, and I would love for you to like, subscribe, hit the bell, hop aboard the Hot Mess Express. Let's be friends. If you've been here before, hi, welcome. If you do not know what a WIP and chat is, that is when I work on my current WIP, WIP, which is work in progress. Currently I am working on Alice and Roses. This is my entry to my own event, AliceInAWinterWonderland. If you would like to participate, there is still time. There's still about 3 weeks left. If you'd like to see the unboxing for this one, I will leave that up in the eye. But you can work alongside with me. You can work on a craft project, a household project, while you're doing chores, while you're working, while you're driving, while you're avoiding work, whatever it is that you want to be doing. There is no right way or wrong way to WIP and chat. I'm very, very excited. So if you guys have been around for a little bit, you know that when I do my WIP and chats during my event, which, let me grab some things here while I'm talking to you guys, if I can reach without my arm being all up in the camera. I'm pretty sure it's all up in the camera right now, but yes, okay. So I'm going to put my special drills down first. Maybe I won't. You guys, I'm so all over the place. I'm going to just leave this out on my desk. It's been a rough go. Anyway, I do what I call the featured accounts when I do my event WIP and chats, which if you guys haven't seen any of the slideshows, I will link the first one for the event up in the eye here. You guys can check it out. Basically, when you guys participate in the event, you fill out the spreadsheet and you let me know if you give me permission to share your photos and your handle and things like that. And with that comes the slideshow. Guys, I am kind of all over the place, so just bear with me. But I do that, and you guys give me permission, and I share your work in a slideshow, and before the slideshow begins, I do what's called a featured account. Now, you can be the featured account whether you're participating in the event or not. What you have to do is find the Easter eggs that I put into my WIP and chats, be the first person to message me and let me know what it is, the screenshot of it, and you will become my featured account. What does that mean for you? Super easy. That means I use my platform to showcase you. And people seem to really enjoy it, and I enjoy putting those little Easter eggs in. The problem, if you notice I didn't have one last week, that's correct, because I did it. I recorded the video. So in a nutshell, it takes me about an hour. I do an hour-long WIP and chat. And then I go back in and I add in all those little Easter eggs. They could be GIFs, they could be memes, they could be photos, emojis, whatever it may be. And that usually takes significantly longer than the length of the video because A, I have to play it back and it's already an hour-long video. But then I have to make sure I get the timing of everything in. I have to take the screenshots on my end so I don't forget what I put in and where I put them. And I have to put my intro, my outro, the music. I have to make timestamps so that I know when I say, oh, I'm going to link this in the eye, that I know what I'm linking and when I'm linking it. And I did all of this. It took a really long time. I had, I think, like 4 in that video. And when I went to upload it to the video to YouTube, it told me the file could not convert. Now listen, I'm not tech savvy, and the older I get, the more I realize I'm turning into my parents. And I was so frustrated. I tried everything I could. I Googled, I watched videos, I did all these things. Part of the problem is I don't have enough room on my phone to resave an hour-long video over and over and over again, or even once. So I was erasing things left and right, trying to make enough room on my phone. Long story short, I spent like 4 hours trying to recover this video, and it would not work. So it somehow let me remove all of those fun things from my video and put in my intro and the music with it. I don't even remember if there was music with the intro or not. And that was it. I couldn't put my outro. I couldn't put any of the things back in it. So super, super long story short, my goal is to be able to put those Easter eggs in this video, obviously not the same ones, and still have the featured account for the next slideshow. If for some reason, and I'm praying it doesn't, but if for some reason that doesn't work, I got to figure out a plan B. So for right now, I'm just hoping and wishing and crossing all the fingers and all the toes that it works. I've been able to upload a couple videos since then. I did one that was like a test video. If you're interested in time-lapse videos, that's kind of how I tested out my file. If you'd like to see that, I'll put that in the eye for you guys here. And it's literally just like a 10-minute time lapse. It was 30 minutes in real time, and I just put it to some music. But if that's your thing, go check it out. So, fingers crossed, fingers, toes, anything, that I'll be able to get them to work in this one. Because if it doesn't work again, I will legit cry. I don't want to think about it. Where do those chili drills go? So, fun fact, I paid for the special treatment, and this one I actually marked it on the bag, the DMC I'm replacing and the symbol, so that I know. And I was supposed to put one of the other special drills in a spot that's over here out of frame, and I totally forgot. I'm like, well, oh well, what's new? Lindsay screwed something. But anyway, if you would like to be the featured account, God willing, look for those Easter eggs in this one. And if you guys are unsure what an Easter egg is, I like to put in, like I said, the little GIFs, memes, things like that. But it'll only be for like a flash. It's not going to be something that's on the screen for 4, 5, 6 seconds. So, but good luck. May the odds be in all of our favors. And that's all I got for, that's all I got for this video. See you guys later. No, that's all I got for that. So, I'm hopeful that it'll work out. I'm just going to keep reminding myself that it's going to work out, hopefully. But if you are somebody who does understand technology and you care to help me, please shoot me a DM. And I think now is the time to actually start to upgrade to a digital camera and not just my cell phone. So I need to get a camera and a computer. And I've been through this before. If you guys have been around for a while, you're probably like, you had this conversation last year. I did. And nothing has come from it. So anyway, let me tell you guys about my week. I hope that you guys are all well. Are you working on your Alice in Wonderland canvases, or are you working on something else? Let me know down below. I've really been loving watching everybody's progress. I think we have 160 entries right now, which is amazing. But like I said, there's still a few more weeks. I think a lot of people just didn't realize that the event runs through February 14th. So you can start at any time during the event. So if you've been hesitant because you're like, I don't have enough time, join us. Come have fun. And also, you don't have to worry about finishing. Just enjoy it. I love seeing all of the Alice images that are out there. One of the ones somebody did that was a public domain image. Hold on. Oh, the music stopped. Hold on, guys. Oh, my husband's going to take care of this. Alright, I'm back. Sorry. My daughter, I feel like I was talking about this in probably my last WIP and chat, but so she likes to listen to music in her room. We have a Google Mini in her room, and it's really great. Like at nighttime, we put like relaxing music. She likes, we call them talking songs. They're like kids' meditation. She really likes that to go to sleep at night. But over her nap, because she refuses to actually attempt to lay down and sleep, she likes to listen to like the Moana soundtrack or the Frozen soundtrack. It's always Frozen 2, never Frozen 1. I don't know why. But for some reason, when that's done, it doesn't autoplay into anything else. So she was sitting there going, excuse me, mommy, the music's and so I just paused you guys so we could turn on something else. Whereas the rest of the music that she plays, like if I just told it to play a song from, like if I was like, play, let it go, it would play that and then keep going into something else. But she doesn't want that. She wants the actual soundtrack. And, I mean, one day, eventually, I hope she'll be able to tell it itself. Actually, that day scares me. How old or your kids or your friends' kids or your grandkids or whatever when like a Google or an Alexa or something like that actually started to recognize their voice for commands. Let me know. I'm very, very curious. Like, her speech is really good, but I think maybe she's just too quiet, which is super terrible to say because she is not a quiet person. She is loud AF. You know what? Where am I at here? Lindsay? I'm going to put, grab a second tray. Ah, everything's falling. Relax. Stop, Lindsay. Oh, Lord. If this is your first video of mine, I hope that this is what you're into because I am always a mess. Okay. So I've been putting the AB of the one color. I put it on the top of the white roses down here. So I'm going to put it on top of the white part of the roses here. You know, like when they paint the roses red. Maybe you don't. Anyway, so I don't even know where I was. Did I even start talking about the week? Probably not. So Sunday, okay, so we had a little bit of a scare. Not us. We're okay. My father-in-law, who still has a flip phone, we were set to visit him on Monday. And Sunday we called to confirm, and we called like 3 or 4 times, left messages. He's not a texter. He's nothing like that. So like eventually my husband was like, you know what? I'm going to just drive out to Dad's to make sure he's okay. Because neither him nor his brother had been able to get a hold of him. So we got super, like Briar got super worried, and I was like, it's okay. Daddy's going to just go check on Grandpa. So lo and behold, he didn't realize that his phone had been ringing, and his phone doesn't show like actual missed calls or messages like on the screen. You have to go into like this one area to find it. If you guys are hearing that noise, my husband is working with power tools. It's either that or a heat gun that you usually hear in the background on my videos. But anyway, so he ended up driving over to his dad's, and his dad was like, hey, why are you here? And he's like, hey, Dad, I've been calling you all day. And his dad was like, wait, what? So we let him know it's important. At the end of the day, just check your phone. Because your kids, your grandkids, they were trying to get a hold of you. And he was totally oblivious to it. He puts his phone in. He grabs it by the side sometimes. Puts it into his pocket. And it turns off the volume. So there's been plenty of times where he didn't even know his phone was ringing. Because it was just in his pocket with the sound off. And so that was interesting. But we ended up going to this restaurant for dinner. My husband was really craving their fries. Now listen, my husband is a food guy, but he's not a super huge French fry guy. So like if he is in the mood for French fries, like, you know, that's really like what he's in the mood for. So we went and they have these fries. You guys, I don't know what kind of technology it is, but the cheese stays melted. It never congeals. Like, you know when you have melted cheese on something and then like it cools down and it hardens and it's like gloopy? No, it doesn't do that.
I've refrigerated it, and it doesn't congeal.
It's so weird, which means it's probably full of, like, the worst chemicals and preservatives.
But horrible for you.
But it, you know, it was one of those things, and, it was an interesting dinner. Whoops. Sorry, I just hit the camera and lost my drill in the process. But that's what we did. It was good. We did that for dinner. Where the hell is my good pen? My good pen. This is the one I have that has a large placer on it. I don't want to say it's better than the rest, but I like this pen for this. I feel like maybe I didn't pull the camera up enough, so hopefully I don't hit you guys again. Anyway, so that was how our Tuesday was spent. So Monday, it was Martin Luther King Day, King Jr. Day, and so the schools were off. My daughter, for some reason, this week only had school Wednesday. I later found out, so they go by the school district, like the K-12 system. So if they are scheduled a day off for whatever reason, so is the preschool, which I find interesting because apparently it was for the high school. It was a mandatory makeup day for exams, which I find interesting that they give the whole school district off. I mean, as far as I know, you don't take final exams in like elementary and middle school, but maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. It's been a long time since I've been in a K-12 school. But anyway, so Monday, we went and actually visited Grandpa. And per usual, Briar... Ooh, that noise. I don't like that. I talk about this every time we go to visit. Briar has this little Mickey Mouse toolkit. And she fixes Grandpa's stationary bike. And she was so confused about it being a stationary bike. Even though, like, it's always been a stationary bike. Like, this isn't new, you know? And she's like, Grandpa, do you ever ride this outside? There's no wheels, Briar. On what planet is Grandpa riding a stationary bike? Now, I realize she doesn't know what a stationary bike is. She doesn't go to a gym to see people working out on workout bikes. But this is an old stationary bike. And she's always super into fixing it with the toolkit. And her grandfather always joins in on the fun and helps her. And it's like, you're doing a terrible job, friend, if your bike still hasn't been fixed after this many years. Oh, my stomach is starting to growl. Let's get some water. Anyway, so that was nice. We got to see Grandpa. He has a bunch of new kittens, like strays. So Briar got to see a couple of them. He lives out on a farm, so he gets like farm cats. But he was telling us, so he's got this dog. She's like half Bernese Mountain Dog. And she's giant and fluffy and like has the softest coat. My husband's like, I've never touched a dog that was softer than that dog in my life. And Grandpa doesn't usually keep her around when I'm there because I'm like super allergic. Even I take allergy meds, and, you know, it just is what it is. So I don't very often see her. I see her hair because she sheds everywhere. But he said he was tired of buying the cat food for the barn to feed the strays because it's so expensive. So he started putting out the dog food. And he said now all of a sudden all the stray cats have really shiny coats. And he said there's a possum that keeps eating it that also now has a really shiny coat. You know, I don't know how safe it is for possums and stray cats to be eating dog food, but like they're stray animals and wild animals. And
cats don't matter, and possums you don't care.
Well, but it's just funny because like they really did. They like popped out and they had this super shiny coat and just ran right back into the barn. So come on, Pen. So that was fun. And you know, it's always an adventure going to visit Grandpa. He lives on a farm, so he's got like cool stuff. And we were sitting in the living room and I was like, Briar, did you hear that? And she's like, what? And I'm like, did you hear the cow mooing? And she's like, what? I'm like, you didn't hear the cow just and she's like, what? How did I hear it but you didn't, child? And then she's like, oh, I see it. And then she's like, Mommy, where's the cow? She was looking one way, the cows were the other way. Yeah, that was a lot of fun, though. And then Brian picked up some lunch for us to all have together. We have, on occasion, like, cooked and brought it to his dad's. He's just an older gentleman who doesn't really, you know, use his kitchen for anything. And has a very simple palate. Yeah, he does. Like, if you cut up an apple, you have to wash the fork off so that you can put butter on your bread. Like, there's no... But he doesn't need it. It's just him in that house. Him and that dog. And I don't think that she's out there using silverware. I mean, I could be wrong. The old dog, probably. The old dog, we used to joke that she was the mayor. Alright, I gotta pull the camera up a little bit. Sorry, guys. I keep hitting it, though. Okay, what else did we do? Oh, Monday. So, after we did all of that, we went to, they built an outdoor rink in the parking lot of a mall, about 40 minutes away from us. Something like that. And we went, and I had signed Briar up because they were doing learn to skate lessons out there. And first of all, it was a beautiful night. It was not super cold. I mean, it was cold, but not like super cold. I live in Pennsylvania, so you could have like below freezing temperatures in January, or it could be like 50 degrees. You never know. And it was just a beautiful day. And the coach had said to us, you know, like what level is she at? She thought she was a level like 4 or 5, which I was impressed by. I was like, no, she's like level 2. But she knows how to do skills that are above that, but she fails to pick up her feet, which is something that's very important in ice skating. She won't be able to do the jumps, the twirls, or I guess spins, crossovers, anything like that if she doesn't pick up her feet. So we did the lesson, and the coach was really sweet. We took one lesson with that coach before, our very first one, and she had said to Briar, she's like, oh, she's actually friends with Briar's actual coach. And so she's like, let her know I said hello. And I guess they texted each other, and she let her know, like, oh, Briar was in my class. And this was just something my daughter has been seeing. I watch a couple skaters on Instagram, and they skate on like wild ice, like frozen lakes and ponds and things like that. And she has been asking over and over and over again, can I skate outside? I want to skate outside. I want to skate under the stars. I want to skate at night. I want to skate during the day. I want to skate outside. And I was like, where the hell am I going to find, you know, outdoor ice? Like, we don't have a pond. We don't have a lake. We don't have frozen ice. We don't know anyone who lives somewhere that has a waterfront property, you know, like, and also it hasn't been cold enough for something like that to actually work here. Well, we lucked out, and they opened up this rink. It was stupid expensive, but we went, and Briar had such a good time. She just loved it out there. And it was funny because the coach had a lot of people who had never been on ice skates before, or, you know, they've only skated a couple times in their life. And so at one point she's like, all right, I'm going to come back to her. And I was like, okay. And she went ahead and basically did some like one-on-one stuff with her, because Briar was ahead of the other people that were there. So she kind of did the beginner stuff, and Briar did all of that with her. But then she did some individual lessons, like paid attention to the kids that were the beginners. And Briar had no need to be in that group. So she's like, just go skate around and I'll grab you when I'm done. And she loved it. I'm surprised that she hasn't asked us to go back. Which honestly, like, I don't know if I would be clamoring to take my kid back, but it was one of those, the lesson was over, after her bedtime. So it was a little rough for us, plus we had a drive, and when Briar gets tired, she gets sloppy. She gets angry, she, you know, can't control her emotions, which is, I mean, I think that's like all of us, but it's even harder when it's like this 5-year-old just like screaming at you because she wants a snack and the snack booth closed, and like, it was crazy because I promised her, I was like, I'll get you a snack when you're done. They had a little tent, and well, I didn't know that the tent closed before the ice skating rink closed, so they packed up, and when Briar was done, she's like, I want my snack now, and I was like, kid, there's no snack, like, they're closed, which did not make her very happy. But it is what it is. I can't change that. I don't know if anyone is seeing how I'm actually diamond painting. Like, this section here is done, but this isn't. This is her face, so I think I'm leaving that for the last. And then, so here's the other top corner. So when I'm done working on this area here, I'll just pull this up and finish that middle section. And then I'll be done. But it was great. I enjoyed watching her skate. I enjoyed... As much as I love her coach, which I really, really love her coach, sometimes they pick up different skills, good or bad, from other coaches. And so it was interesting to see her do things a little bit differently, and how Briar responded to it. So Tuesday we had her regular skating lesson, which I was not sure if this kid was going to get up because, again, she went to bed significantly later than her bedtime, but she skated and did really well. This is going to be one of those, I shouldn't have pulled this color out, right? I feel like I'm about to hit the phone too. So this section right here is a lot of like color blocking confetti. Like, instead of these diamonds, which you can see being just, like, one color, they're, like, 3 or 4 colors. And then the background is a couple colors. So I can use my multi-placer, but not for more than, like, 3 or 4 at a time. So it's... Do you guys like confetti? Or you guys I'm definitely team color block, which makes me like feel like I should go through some of my canvases, my older ones, and try to de-stash. That also feels like a lot of effort. Anyway, where am I? So Tuesday we had tots. One of the little girls in Briar's lesson decided to switch from ice hockey to figure skating, and so she was in figure skates for the first time. I'm not surprised because, like, at public skate, she's there all the time, and she's trying to do spirals and a couple other figure skating moves. And so I guess for Christmas, her parents had got her all new equipment. So she's now going to be figure skating, which is really sweet. Like, Briar was the only one. Briar's been the only one for a while that skates and figure skates, other than, like, the rental kids. And I don't mean it like the rental kids. I mean, there's a couple kids that are still super beginner, and I don't know what their preference is going to be once they know how to skate. So those are the beginner kids. I just call them the rental kids because they rent their equipment. And then we went and got the real Taco Bell. You guys, we haven't been there in so long, and I just got like 2 appetizers. I got an appetizer and a soup. But the girl that was waiting on us, like, decided she fell in love with my daughter. And then she's talking about how it was her birthday. And we're like, oh, happy birthday. And then I was like, well, now we have to give her a good tip. Not that we weren't going to give her a good tip before. But, like, how much of an a-hole are you if somebody's like, it's my birthday. And you're like, here's a shit tip. Happy birthday. Unless they were terrible. But, I mean, I still, like, for me to give anybody less than 20%, like, you really have to suck and be awful. I feel very distracted today. Probably because I have so much trash all over my desk. Because I keep forgetting to bring up a trash bag so that I can empty my trash can and put the trash from my trash can in the trash bag and then the new trash in my trash can. It's really fun.
The word trash 87 times.
And I've also, for the last, like, 4 days, been saying I got to bring up my tablet and charge it, and I keep forgetting. And my husband's like, well, you can go back downstairs and get it if you want. I'm like, I know I can, but my foot still hurts, and I don't want to keep going up and down the stairs. And even today, I was like, don't forget to bring your tablet up when you film, Lindsay. Don't forget to bring it up when you film. And I sat down, and I was like, shoot, forgot my tablet. But what did I write? Oh, we went to the post office. It looks like I wrote P-O-C-U-N, but it says P-O, run. P-O. That's how Briar used to say pillow. And of course, we got a ton of mail because Monday was a holiday, which I love. If you order something from a small shop, the amount of people that don't understand what business days are or what, like, constitutes as, like, a mail day. Like, people got mad that, like, their mail wasn't being sent out Monday. And I'm like, yeah, but the post offices are closed. Like, I don't know what you're expecting that small business owner to do. They could drop it off, I guess, but it still won't go into the system until the next day. And I think, at least for my husband, he'd rather go the next day when he knows that somebody can actually handle that package. But yeah, he did a post office run. Normally we do those on Monday. And then Briar we got so much mail. Like, everything just happened to come at the same time. And she got this super cute. It's Hello Kitty and Karopi, and it's all, like, cottagecore with mushrooms. And she has the turtleneck, and then I bought the matching doll outfit. So she has a doll that she named Dolly. And if you guys have ever seen the Illy dolls from Target, it's I-L-Y. They are Disney 18-inch figures that are inspired by characters. So this one was inspired by Elsa, and she is this beautiful, like, black doll with, listen, the doll hair they put on this is, like, way better than Barbie hair doll. Like, one of the reasons I don't like dolls like that for Briar is that, like, doll hair, it takes a lot to maintain. You're going to ask a 5-year-old who can barely, like, wipe their own butt to, like, maintain doll hair? No, ma'am. No, ma'am. So this one was the Elsa one. So it has, like, a little blue and silver outfit and a skirt and boots and a little Olaf cap, like a winter hat, but it's Olaf. It's super cute. So it's Disney, but not in like a, hey, this doll is Elsa, because it's not Elsa. It's a doll wearing an Elsa-inspired outfit. We have a couple of the outfits. She's the only doll that we have of it. So she's an 18-inch doll, like an American Girl doll or My Generation doll. And the outfit's super cute. If I have a picture of it, I'll put it up here. I think I got like one decent-ish photo. Briar was so excited. And she's like, Dolly and I have the same outfit. And I'm like, yeah. But yeah, so. Ooh. I don't know why. Like, I feel like I'm just, maybe I peeled up too much plastic. I'm struggling over here today, you guys. And I'm like halfway into this WIP and chat. And I feel like I've talked about nothing. So Wednesday we had school. So Briar went to school. After school, Brian took Briar to Burger King, where the two of them had lunch, and they had it their way. And Brian sent me, like, the cutest photo of her wearing the little Burger King crown. I was like, can you just drop me off at the Dollar General? It's in the same shopping center where I was going. I wanted to pick up some crayons or markers or some sort of coloring thing for me. I bought this book, and it's, like, an ADHD, for lack of better description, like, activity book. And it's something to, like, stimulate that kind of brain. It's for me. It's not for Briar or anyone else. It's an adult thing. And I was meeting up with a friend for a movie date. And I was like, oh, I'll just do the book while I wait. Well, silly me, I got down to the movie theater. It was, like, just before 12:30. Our movie was 12:55. I go to open the doors. The doors are completely locked. And my husband is now at lunch with my daughter, and I'm just standing out in the cold waiting for them to open. And the guy opens the door and says, oh, we'll be open in 5 minutes. So I'm like, wow. How are you guys when it comes to movies? I'm the person that gets the movie super, super early. These are ones where you, like, pre-pick your seat, so it's not like I'm rushing to get a seat. But I always just want to make sure that I give myself enough time, that there's not, like, a crazy snack line. Like, I like to be early to movies. I mean, things in general, but movies in particular. And so here I am, coming at what I think is like, I don't really have that much time, and I can't even get in. So eventually I get in, and I get my movie snacks, which, for me, I am a popcorn and nacho cheese dip person. As in, I dip my popcorn into the nacho cheese that you buy at the theaters. It's my favorite. I've been doing it for decades, and I think it's delicious. I am not a butter on popcorn person. I also find movie theater popcorn to be incredibly salty. I say as I dipped it into fake cheese. But that's my thing. Also, I need to know, are you guys people who text on your cell phone during movies? Because I am not. I will occasionally, like, look at my phone to see what time it is and then immediately turn the screen off because I don't want to be rude to the people around me. And there are people who just continue to use their phone as if they're watching a movie at home. And I'm just like, let me know. Are you guys use your phone people or not use your phone people when you're in a public movie theater? Let me know. But I saw the Whitney Houston movie. It was fantastic. For me, it was one of those, you know what's going to happen. You know where the story is going to end. And I'm just sitting there, like, tears just streaming down my face, even though I knew it was going to happen. And it was so good. It was very long. It was 2.5 hours. Sorry, like, you guys can hear it. I'm getting emotional about it. It was, I really enjoyed it. That's the first movie that I have seen for me. Like, we've seen Paw Patrol and Sing 2 in theaters, but this is the first movie, like, since before Briar was born that I've gone to, like, for me. Whether it was me and Brian or just me, but I really, really enjoyed it. The next day was Thursday. You guys, this week was like, you know when they tell a mom who's saying, I'm going through so much right now, I really could use a break, and they go, self-care, guys, self-care. Like, no, I need an actual hand or something. No, self-care. Well, this is like my week of self-care. I went to the movies with a friend. Really enjoyed it. And then on Thursday, I went and I got my hair cut. If you guys have not seen the photos on Instagram, I will be sure to insert something here. I donated 20 inches of hair to be made into a wig for kids with cancer. I have donated, I'm now about like 5.5 feet of hair in my lifetime, which is an insane amount if you think about it. And somebody actually messaged me and they're like, how long have you been growing your hair out? And I was like, it's an interesting concept, because I don't know that I knew I was growing my hair out until I was like, my hair's getting pretty long. So it wasn't like an intentional, like, let it grow as long as humanly possible. But my husband and I had discussed donating our hair together. But I don't, 2018, summer of 2018, so 4.5 years ago, I think was the last time I had a, like, real professional haircut where I went from long hair to shoulder length. I must have donated my hair then, too. It wasn't quite as long as it was this time, but it was still a lot of hair. Honestly, I think that was the last time I donated to Locks of Love, because I didn't know then, but I know now, that Locks of Love actually charges families for the wigs, which it's like, I don't appreciate that. I'm doing this out of the goodness of my heart as a donation, and you're charging families for it. And they have so many other costs to worry about with medical bills and things like that. And so I think that was the last time I donated my hair. Since then, I've had my hair cut. My mom over this past summer cut my hair. I said, Mom, can you like just trim the dead ends off for me? And 5 inches later, like, see giant chunks of hair on the floor. And she's like, it wasn't even. And I was like, I don't care. I just wanted the dead ends off. You know, at that point I was just like, well, my hair's going to be back in a bun anyway. Nobody's seeing me. I'm in a pandemic, you know, either way. Not pandemic or pandemic. Like, I wouldn't care if my hair was, you know, perfectly even. But I had reached out to the stylist that did my hair a while ago. I was hoping to have it done around my birthday in November, and it just didn't work out. And I just randomly looked at her books, and she had an opening, and I was like, holy shit, I'm going to take it. So I cut off 20 inches, and then I decided to dye my hair for the first time ever. I've put dye in my hair before. Like, when I was younger, I put, like, blue, like, temporary stuff in my hair. And then I attempted to dye my hair hot pink when I had a mohawk, with, I don't even think it was demi-permanent. I think it was just supposed to be for, like, the 8 to 10 washes. And it literally came out of my hair when I rinsed it. Like, it never dyed my hair. So for them, it was exciting because she was able to work on, basically virgin hair. And I am one of those people, I think a lot of people, especially women, find a lot of their femininity is stripped when they cut their hair short. Society tells us that women are more beautiful with long hair. Like, listen, I don't care how long or how short you are. Your beauty is not determined by the color of your hair, the length of your hair, the style of your hair. That's not what determines beauty. And I am one of those people that thankfully and luckily, my hair grows very quickly, and I'm not super attached to it. So when she cut it, I was talking to someone the other day, like, I literally did not even bat an eye, and she was like, are you ready? And I'm like, yeah, just cut it. And she's like, are you sure? You need a deep breath? And I'm like, no. Like, so she cut the first one off, and I was like, my head feels much lighter. And she was surprised that that was my reaction, and not more of like a, you know. And I'm one of those people that I truly believe that my hair could do more good being given to somebody who needs it than staying on my head. And so I cut it and I donated it, and she's going through the process of filling out the paperwork for me. It was also a cause that was very near and dear to her heart, as she had a friend who needed a wig when they were battling cancer, as a youngster. And I'm happy I was able to do it. I'm super happy that I cut my hair. It feels 1,000 pounds lighter. It feels like I want to take 2023 and make this, I don't want to be like, this is my year, but I want to make this year better than last year. I want to feel good about myself because I've been dealing with so much health stuff for so long. And also, like, has anybody had a tailbone injury? If you have, please let me know, like, honestly, how long your recovery was, because, I've been struggling to diamond paint. I don't know if I bruised or fractured my tailbone, and in all honesty, I'm not going to go to the doctors and find out, because the difference is one just takes longer than the other to heal. Like, there's no different healing process. You don't do anything differently if it's broken or if it's fractured or if it's bruised. But I can't sit for long periods of time because that's where your tailbone is. And it's just... I feel like maybe I should just put down a piece of release paper so I can work right here. But it's just been exhausting. I want to work more, but I can't sit for very long. So I brought my butt pillow with me to the hair salon. And, yeah. So, if you guys have any questions on the hair stuff, just leave them down below. But I don't know, it's something about knowing that something that would otherwise just be thrown in the trash can actually make a difference in someone else's life. And I think that's why I just keep doing it. And my husband will also be donating his hair. We donated our hair together. It was like 8 or 9 years ago. If I have the picture of us, like the before and after collage I made, I'll put that up here. But Brian and I obviously couldn't go to the salon to get our hair cut at the same time because we have Briar. But she was so cute, and she was like, Mommy, I love your hair. And we were talking to my mother-in-law later that night, and she loves my hair, and she was saying something to Briar, and Briar goes, yeah, Daddy told me to tell Mommy that her hair looked nice. And I was like, wow, way to throw your dad under the bus. And of course, he's like, that's not what I told her. But she has since said on her own quite a few times, Mommy, I like your hair. And she keeps saying to me, it's growing. It's growing. As if she can tell that it's growing. It's been a couple days. I told her, I was like, you're not going to notice that Mommy's hair is growing till it gets long again. Or like below my shoulders. But yeah, I'm really excited to have been able to go through and do it. But it was also super nice, like, selfishly, to have that time to, like, feel beautiful. And not that I was getting pampered, but I mean, I guess I was getting pampered. It was just lovely. And everybody deserves to have that kind of feeling. And, yeah. I can't tell if I'm in frame. I am, okay. So that was my Thursday, and then we came home, and I said to my husband, like, why don't we go out to dinner? You know, like, I was feeling good. I was looking good. My hair was beautiful. I was in a good mood. Let's just go get some dinner. So he's like, let's go to Roadhouse. So there's a Texas Roadhouse down the street from us. And it does not matter what time of day you go. It's always busy. So he looked online. He saw that it had like a 5-minute wait. He put us on the wait list. I don't know where that wait came from, because there were tables in front of us that were told significantly longer than that, but we were already on their virtual. The last time we had Roadhouse, this location, it was a to-go order. And it was not great. I'm going to grab some water real quick. So I was a little bit hesitant, but I was like, all right, let's do it. Let's go. Let's have a good meal. The last time we went and ate there in person, I didn't get a steak because I was like, I don't want to deal with them not cooking it. And this time I was like, you know what? I'm going to do it. So I got a steak and I ordered it medium. My husband also got a steak, ordered it medium. First of all, everything took forever. The appetizers that we ordered before the table that sat down before us, or after us, like, their food came out first. And I was like, where's our food? And then, if you guys have ever had their rattlesnake bites, they're like, deep fried balls of like cheese and jalapeno. They're really, really good. Half of them were over fried and there was no cheese on the inside. It just was like kind of a bummer. And then my dinner came out. My husband got his steak. His was perfectly cooked. I cut mine, and mine was like the entire middle part was raw. Like, it was...
And we got ours the same.
Right.
Medium.
Exactly. And I had ordered, like I said, that to-go order where literally it was seared on the outside and the entire steak was like raw, mooing, just raw. Not rare, raw. This, the middle part of it was raw, but in general, I would have called that like, at the most, I would have called that cooked rare. And, which they're not allowed to serve rare steaks at like chains like that. But not that I would eat it that way. And I let them know, I was like, this needs more time. And we sat there, 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 and I was now getting annoyed because we're talking like, it's like 20 minutes later, and we still don't have my steak. Briar has now run out of steam, which makes perfect sense. She had already been there for an extended period of time, and I wasn't expecting my kid to still have, like, good behavior at this point. Not that she had bad behavior. You could just tell, like, there was no more wind in her sails. Like, she was tapping out. And so I let the waitress know. I said, you know, you can just go ahead and cancel it. And every time this happens, they go, oh, no, 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 let us bring you a new one. And I'm like, but here's the thing. Even if you bring me a new one, I don't have the time to sit here and eat because now we've been here for an hour and a half. And my kid's ready to go. This is a very long dining experience. So, wouldn't you know, not less than like a minute later, after I told them to cancel it, they come out with the steak and they go, here you go. And I said, I canceled this. And it was still like, well, no, you can have it. And I'm like, I don't want it now. You know, if it was just me and Brian, it would have been different. I say that, but I probably would have been that annoyed anyway. It's really disappointing. And I know I'm not going to a high-end place. I shouldn't have, like, high expectations. But how did two steaks from the same order, both ordered medium, how did one come out medium and one was rare? And that's being nice calling it rare. It was blue on the inside. And I was like, maybe it's because we got different cuts of beef. But, like, if you don't know how to cook a filet, then how are you working in a steakhouse? Briar wants to know if you want to build a snowman. She is serenading us all, if you guys can hear her. Let me turn her down just a little bit. She's a little upset because she had all of her babies taken away from her today. We're trying to build up so that she can have stuff in her room again, and every time we think we're there, she does something. I forget what she was doing, and I said, do it one more time, and you're going to lose your babies for your nap. She immediately turned into me and did it. She was making some noise with her mouth, which, of course, was sending me into, like, overdrive. But it was like, girl, stop. Because she was doing it instead of listening to what I was asking of her. So she lost her babies. And, yeah. Anyway, trying to figure out how far I want to go. I'm going to just go up to there. That looks like, yeah, yeah, we'll do that. My husband must have washed his hair. It's down and it's fluffy. Yep. And it's glorious. He's got very lovely hair. When he cuts his off, that'll make somebody very, very happy. He's got like the Pantene Pro V commercial hair. You know, like dark and shiny. I don't even know if those commercials still exist. I'm one of those people, my husband and I, we, like, never watch TV live. Whatever we watch, we tape on the DVR, or we watch on, like, streaming services. And my mom is always like, I know you don't watch commercials, but have you seen, and I'm like, you just answered your own question. I don't watch commercials. So, no, I have not seen whatever it may be. But, so, yeah, that was our Thursday. And then Friday, again, she didn't have school. She literally only had school Wednesday this week, and she just keeps asking. She's like, when am I going back to school? And I'm like, Monday. God willing. What are you? Number 3. 3. So, I don't remember what we were going to do, and I was like, can we go to Starbucks? I was really in the mood for Starbucks. And I was like, if the line is super long, we have a drive-through one at our outlet, and the line is always ridiculous. Always. Like, I don't think there's ever a time of day that the line is not backed up crazy far. But I was like, you know what? Like, we have nowhere that we're like, I was just like, if I have to, I'll go inside and I'll pick it up. Which I did. I got a pistachio latte. I enjoyed that immensely. I really like pistachio flavored things, but pistachios always remind me of my dad. My dad used to have like a dish of pistachios that he would eat when I was a kid. And so it has nostalgia behind it. But let me see, where do we go? Oh, that's right. So normally on Fridays, we pick our kid up and we take her right to her lesson because she has a private lesson. And then from there, we hit up like the McDonald's drive-thru on our way because we don't have time to stop for a real lunch between pickup and her lesson. Pickup is 11:45 and her lesson starts at 1 and it's like a half hour away. So we really just don't have time. I mean, could I give her, like, pre-pack something for her and give it to her in the car? Sure. But this makes it easier for her and it's, I guess, part of the routine now. So anyway, we stopped, got her McDonald's, but I was able to get Starbucks because we weren't rushing from school to her lesson. And we got there, and usually her coach has a lesson directly before us, and we didn't see her, and I was like, maybe they were sick or off or whatever. And so there was a bunch of kids around Briar's age and size, it looked like. Obviously, I could be assuming and being wrong. And next thing I know, Briar is skating with these little girls who she's never seen or spoken to before. And I look over and she is legit teaching 2 of them how to ice skate. She's like, okay, now you push off the wall and you wiggle. And she showed them how to do that. She showed them how to do swizzles. So they're out there. Swizzles are when they like go from like heel to toe and then they just keep going. So it's kind of like they make like balloons almost. And she was super excited about that. And so I was like, well, I guess I can't pay her coach full price today because I got to pay you for teaching these girls how to skate. So her coach came, and at one point she pulled her off the ice and she's like, you need to have a talk with her. I don't know what was going on with her on Friday. She was so like beyond distracted. Like we could not get her to sit and focus on literally anything. Nothing. It was any single thing we asked, it was pulling teeth the whole time. And I was like, girl, what is happening with you? She wasn't listening to anything. You would tell her something and it was like she was blank staring. She was just, it was a rough day. It was a rough day for her. It was just a rough day. And that's the first time that I've ever seen that her coach wasn't able to redirect her. I don't know if she was just distracted because she was skating with these other kids beforehand and like that's what she was thinking about or what, but she just was driving that struggle bus, you guys. And then of course her coach let me know that she got a flat tire on her way in, and so she had to scramble off the ice so that her husband could pick her up. I don't know if you guys can hear. Briar's just, she's such a little singer. She loves to sing. But yeah, her coach had to like rush at the end of the lesson to get out of there. And then Briar went back to skating with those other girls. And it was nice to see Briar with like age appropriate play, but I wish it didn't come at the hands of her being so distracted for the lesson I'm paying for. But that's neither here nor there. It was really just, you know, all over the place. We got some pho for dinner. There's a place near us. Super, super good. They have boba. Got Briar. So there's a boba shop in one of the malls that has a bunch of caffeine-free bases, which I prefer for Briar because, like, I don't want to give my kid a cup of tea, you know. But she just, it's funny. She really enjoys it. And they got a kick out of her. She was eating, like, my bean sprouts that were supposed to go in my soup, like, by the fistful, like, literally grabbing them. And I was like, girl. And then we wanted to get, my husband said, if you do well with dinner and you behave and you do all these things, we can get dessert afterwards. And she's like, okay. Normally we would go to the one bakery, but he's like, I really want cookies. There's a company, it's called Taylor Chip Cookies. They do ship, I think, everywhere. They are like, I think they're half-pound cookies. They're ridiculous. They're huge. They're like really high. They're fat cookies. They're delicious. They're very expensive, but they are massive. And so we stopped and got that. And, well, we didn't realize how busy it was going to be on a Friday night. We didn't take that into consideration. And you could tell, like, as soon as one car pulled out, the next car was trying to park there. And, like, people would be waiting. And I was like, they're going to be waiting a while. Like, I've got a little kid I have to put into a car seat. Who, when you tell her, hurry up, you need to get into your car seat, that's when she takes, like, her time. You know? So, but we got those. Those were great. And then, Saturday, my daughter, we've been talking about, we wanted to see my mother-in-law, and I called her and I was like, let me know what your schedule looks like for this week, and we'll, on a day you don't have an appointment, we'll, you know, plan something. Because I have to plan between Briar's ice skating, school, and her doctor's appointment. So sometimes there's weeks where we're like, we just don't have the time to see her. And that's okay. And we don't see her every week anyway, but it was due. We were due to see her. And Brian's like, why don't we call mom and see if she wants to come to dinner with us tonight? I'm like, you know what? Let's do that. So we did. And we just went to this bar restaurant that's really close to her. And it was funny. Like, we were in the back room, as they called it. And, like, literally all of the lights went out in the back, but not in, like, the main bar area or anywhere else in the restaurant. No lie. Not a single employee that was working back there batted an eye. They were just like, oh, okay, well, I guess we don't have lights right now. I was like, this is weird. Also, the table behind me, I found it very interesting. I am assuming it was a woman and her 2 granddaughters. Seemed very much like she took her grandchildren on a date with her. I can't be certain, but this was definitely not like this is her husband or this is her boyfriend. Like, there was, I mean, it could have been her boyfriend if they were on a date, but it wasn't somebody, it seemed like it was somebody she was just getting to know. She was talking about things about, like, where she lived and her living situation, and it just, the way she spoke made it seem like this was indeed the first or second time they had gone out. And I was like, well, that's interesting. But we had a nice time, and it was nice having his mom there because, you know, Briar is like, ooh, you can read to me, you can color with me, you can play with me, all the things that she does to us. And, you know, it's cute the first time, but then you're like, okay, Briar, I just want to, like, I want to read the menu so I can figure out what I want, you know. She also likes to order her burgers Gamma style, which is with mayonnaise. And it was funny, her burger came out, and she's like, where's the mayonnaise? And I was like, oh, and the food runner was like, oh, I'm sorry, did you need some mayonnaise? And Briar just looked at them and was like, yes, please. But it's cute. Like, she has literally gone to restaurants and been like, I want a burger like my Gammas. And they're like, what does that mean? You know, because she doesn't understand that the world doesn't know her Gamma. But it was really nice, and she would love to take Briar, even if it was just for like a couple hours. But she does not believe us when we tell her that Briar is not a gentle child. Like, Briar does not understand her strength, and she'll, like, barrel into you full force. And if you do that to somebody who is a little bit more fragile, there's a higher likelihood that that person will actually sustain a real injury. So, we don't encourage that. And, you know, we would love to one day be able to, but I need Briar to be a little bit more mature before I leave her with any of her grandparents. Also, ideally, I would love for Briar to be able to be in a booster seat before I leave her with a grandparent, because right now I would have to fully install a car seat in her car for just in case kind of situation. And one, I don't want to take the car seat out of my car again and again and again. But also, I don't know that my parents or my husband's parents would actually be able to physically, properly, safely adjust her straps, tighten her in, things like that, into an actual car seat. But my daughter is 9 pounds away from the weight minimum for a booster seat, so there's zero chance that my daughter will be able to sit in a booster for probably a couple years. She's like 31 pounds, maybe 32, depending on how well she ate. But you need to be a minimum of 40 pounds. And we are not there. We are nowhere near there. And I know some people be like, some kids, they grow a lot in a year. And I'm like, yeah, but my kid's 5 and weighs 31 pounds. There's no growing a lot. But it was nice. And I know Briar really wants to, we usually go to the park with my mother-in-law. And she really wants to ride her bike. Like, that's something that she is craving. And I was like, listen, your grandmother can't sit out at a park when it's 37 degrees. Like, that's too much for her. She doesn't understand that just because she's not cold doesn't mean other people aren't cold. Also, she doesn't understand that normal people don't have bionic eyeballs. Like, she'll sit in the car when it's completely dark, and she will sit there and be like, looking at something in her book and asking you questions about it. And like, Briar, we can't even see it, besides the fact that I'm in the front and she's in the back. But I think this might be a good place for us to leave. I've hit that hour mark. Hopefully all of the Easter eggs worked in this video. If you guys made it all the way to the end, leave me a bunch of egg emojis. Okay, let's do it. If you
99 cents per egg emoji.
Don't listen to him. If you guys enjoyed this video and you'd like to see more videos like this, or, you know, nothing like this at all, please make sure to give this video 2 thumbs up. One real life, one virtual. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. Come, join the Sparkle Squad. And while you're there, hit that notification bell. I do not operate on any sort of schedule. I operate on toddler standard time, and I record when my tiny human is sleeping, or, like today, sleeping. Thank you guys so much for being here, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye, guys!